You've only got like a month to go until this tour. The amount of preparation you guys must have to go through is amazing. Where are you at with getting all of your shit ready and rehearsals and everything like that?
Uh, Absolutely nowhere, to be honest with you. We got a lot of work to do. Uh we actually are getting together to start rehearsals this weekend, and we're going to power through it for the next 3 weeks. But since we're doing an all Scars set from our record Scars, there's a few songs in there that we definitely haven't played in probably, give or take 15 to 20 years, or not at all. So we're going to have to really hone in on those. But, we've got all the other stuff, completed, the live show and all that, ready to go. But we're going to start rehearsals this week and go through the next 3 weeks.
So I need to ask this. A lot of bands these days really rely on video. They rely on lights in a different way than they used to. And I know that the Static X guys have a really intense screen and light show. How much of that do you guys use?
I mean, we've always been more of a kind of a stripped down type rock band in our own right. And the other thing is we've never been, a platinum or double platinum type band to where, we've had the resources or the finances to get all the huge stage equipment and stuff like that. In the United States, we do carry a lighting rig with us that has program lights to all the songs for all the cues and stuff. And then we have, segues and intros and outros and things, so that we do give a fair degree of production and things. Unfortunately, with the cost of shipping and things, they're not going to bring that to Australia. But the Static X guys have been super, super kind enough to let us use a few of their, digital screens, so we can put the logo and some other things up with it. But, a show like Static X puts on, I just recently saw them in Chicago when they played. It's mind blowing. I mean, it's so awesome. They literally have the best stage show that they've ever had in their entire career. So I love things like that, and I wish that Soil was, a bigger band, or, had the means to do that sort of stuff. It's just, we're kind of like smack dab as one of those middle of the road artists. So we have some cool stuff, but we've never been able to go over the top with it, with flamethrowers and huge lighting rigs and all kinds of stuff. So,
and now you guys would have toured quite a bit back in the day. A lot of that van and RV style touring. What sort of like funny stories have you got from touring with the Static X guys back in the day?
I mean, the last time we were in a van or an RV was in 2001. We've been in buses ever since. But there's a ton of funny memories with Static X. In fact, here's a great one that I'll share with you. And we were playing a festival in Orlando, Florida called Earth Day Birthday, and there was a ton of huge bands on it. Rob Zombie was on it, Ozzy was on it, Static X, us, Seven Dust. I mean, you name it. There's just a ton of bands, and we were actually on tour with Static X, and that Earth Day Birthday Festival was one of the stops. So it went Soil and then Static X after us, and then the other bands are on the festival. So Static X was kind of up on stage getting ready, towards the end of our set, and Wayne was watching from the side of the stage, and our guitar player Adam walks up, and he's like, "Hey, Wayne," and Wayne's just smiling at him. And Adam's like, "What's up? Why are you smirking at me?" And he just points down to Adam's crotch, and Adam's fly was wide open, and his underwear and trousers were all hanging out. So Wayne, a total very dry Wayne Static sense of humor. He just had this smirk on his face. When I still to this day just burst out laughing every time I think of it. So, I kind of miss all that dry sense of humor that Wayne brought with the things. He was one of those people that he was funny without even trying to be funny,
That's awesome. Now, your tour here is actually your first in 9 years and your third tour here. So you would have been here last on Soundwave 2014, which is
Correct.
kind of like that traveling circus mentality. I remember that tour well. What memories do you have from your previous Australian tours and the Soundwave run?
Well, the first Australian tour we ever did was Dope and Soil, and that was an awesome tour. We played some hotels. It was a smaller tour, but first time going all over to Australia and experiencing it, it was absolutely amazing. We just had such a great time. And then the Soundwave Festival. I mean, what can I say about that? I mean, simply just over the top. Just everything was amazing. I mean, sitting in a shuttle bus with Duff McKagan and talking to him and shooting the shit with him, and he actually said, "Hi, my name's Duff," like we didn't know who
Yeah,
he was. We were you know singing goofy songs with the guys from Bowling for Soup and the guys from Down and all that. We're all driving in these shuttle buses back and forth and just laughing and joking, and we're on the same flights sitting next to the Five Finger Death Punch guys and this and that. I mean, it was just such a surreal and awesome experience, and the crowds were amazing. We were actually sandwiched in between Rob Zombie and Korn,
right.
and so it's like Rob Zombie went on, then we went on, then Korn, and it was like the stages were side by side, so it's like while Rob Zombie went on, then we went on while Korn was getting ready to go on. So we had like the prime slot. So we had like 25,000 people watching us every show. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. That was such a great tour. So
I remember that one very, very well. That was probably the most brutal Soundwave crowd I've ever seen in between like your three bands. They were just going mental.
It was awesome. I still can't believe that we were lucky enough to get that slot. So it was killer.
Now, yourself and Adam, you've been the only two consistent members in your band from the get-go. So what's that kind of relationship like between you two, and what do you guys do just to keep the band moving as a functional unit?
I mean, we're definitely, like, if you put us together, we equal one superhuman being.
Yep.
I'm kind of the right side. I'm the right half of the brain, and he's the left. I'm the great thing about the two of us is Adam's kind of the logistical person. He's the one that takes care of the transportation and the road cases and stuff like that. Me, I'm the numbers guy. I'm the guy that's figuring out all the numbers and the flights and all the logistics and all the promo and all that sort of managerial type stuff. So he's kind of like the manual labor type person, and I'm kind of like the office guy. So together, we work super well, and he's, one of my best friends in the whole world. We've actually been playing together in bands since 1990. So we're going on, this year will be 33 years that we've been playing in bands nonstop together. It's been so long. I mean, we were just little tiny kids when we met each other, and we've been playing together ever since. And, the original incarnation of Soil with the 5 members, we had going for a long time. And then Ryan left for, family and personal reasons. And then later on, it joined Drowning Pool and stuff. So we had to get a new singer in on that. And then we lost the guitar player and replaced him with a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
And then that's when the entire band just collapsed and fell apart as the record after that. So me and Adam were kind of faced with, what do we do? Do we call it quits? Do we keep on going? And we decided to keep on going, and we, got Ryan back in the fold. So we had 3 original members, and we decided we'd never get a second guitar player because there's just no purpose in having, another opinion, another flight, another person there when we could, just put them on a computer.
Yep.
And then, I mean, there's been a lot of things going around nowadays with like, people using tracks and, the whole Motley Crue thing, and it's all fake and stuff. I mean, for the record, the only thing we use a track for is a second guitar. Everything else is completely live and completely us making mistakes and fucking up everywhere. So there's nothing else that's on any sort of a track. But we decided, we've always liked the 4-piece mentality. One person on each side of the stage and the front man in the middle, and we just never wanted to bother with having another person, another opinion, another pain in the ass, basically. So that's where we're at. So we're back to 3 of 5 originals, which is about as close as we're ever going to get.
And look, to be honest with you, I have my own feelings on tracks. I don't think lead vocal should ever be on tracks, but like I think supplemental things like guitars, keyboards, like atmospheric stuff, like you be between song cues, and especially now you've got to cue your lighting rig to a track.
Oh,
so I have no issue with it. I have an issue with lead vocals being on a track, or if what's happened recently with that band that went, we can't play our show because we don't have our laptops, was just a joke.
Oh, that was the epitome of, well, maybe you shouldn't be in the music business anymore, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's something to it too. It's like like you just said, it's great with technology, to utilize technology to add to the show and to give kind of a more rich and fuller show. But there's the other thing, to use technology as a crutch and literally not even play your instrument. And what's the point of being on stage and doing something you love when you're not actually playing the notes or singing the songs or whatever? You know, it's great if technology is used as a tool, it's fantastic. But if it's used as a total crutch so that you don't even have to play your instrument, I mean, just as a musician, I would never want to be up on stage and not be playing my actual bass, you know? So it's just like I mean, that's the whole point I got into music, is to play the instrument and enjoy, you know, my craft. So when you're not doing that, it just seems a little ridiculous to me. But
yeah, true. Speaking of basses, you use sawtooth basses. So what makes them the choice for you?
you know, one thing that I kind of pride myself on is I was never a guitar player that switched over the bass or anything like that. I started out on the bass and stuck with it. And, you know, to all my other fellow bass players out there that started out on bass, we kind of have our own little click and our own little language on it. You can really tell somebody who started off on bass or as a bass player as opposed to somebody who is a guitar player that's playing bass, because the bass is the glue that holds the drums and the guitar and the band together, that holds that foundation together of the push and pull of the guitar and the rock solid steadiness of the drums, and kind of weaves in and out. And a real bass player knows how to weave in and out between guitar parts and drum fills and beats, to where, you know, somebody who's just a guitar player that just decided to go on bass because they needed a bass player, or there were too many guitar players and not enough bass players, you know, they just play very stock and very unanimated, and it's a disappointment. It doesn't make for great songs.
Okay, now, you did your covers album last year. Do you have any leftover tracks from that one?
No, we actually went in the studio and recorded 22 songs, 11 covers and 11 originals, and that was a grueling process to record that many songs in a time period. I would never ever in my life do that again, but we pulled it off, and it was a lot of work, especially with the covers record, because we not only had to learn the covers, but we also had to figure out how to pay homage to the originals while still making them our own. And then, man, when you really start dissecting some of those songs and hear the dynamics, like little bells and whistles and little added effects and things like that, you know, that take months and things like that in the studio for some of these major label albums and songs that we were covering. We're trying to, you know, recreate that. It was a chore. So anybody that, and we were never a covers band. I think we've done maybe 2 covers before in our entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So this was our first time at it, and I have a new appreciation for bands that do covers and do them well, because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of little nuances and things that you have to focus on and look at. So it was a great learning process, and I think we chose the right songs, and I think we paid a nice little homage to the bands and still put the little soil tag on it. So I'm pretty proud of that, and the fan base reacted really astonishingly well to it. So
Cool. Now that means you've got a new record in the can. Does that mean we will see new music this year?
It's going to be coming out sometime in the fall. With all this stuff, we'll be making announcements soon. We're kind of just staggering it and waiting till we get some more tour dates and things on the books so that we can fully, promote it right and go out on the road for it. But there'll be announcements soon with all that.
Awesome. What's the perfect title going to be for the upcoming album?
You know what? I got to keep that a secret for right now. I wish I could divulge it, but all in due time, everything will be known on that one.
Yeah, I saw you do an interview with one of the other guys from here. You almost let it slip, so I figured if I twisted the question a little more, I might get it out of you.
Maybe a few more interviews in, or if I have a few beers in me or something, I might slip up. But for right now, my lips are sealed for right now.
Well, actually, I will ask this: how does it feel? It's been like 10 years since an all original album. How does it feel to have that ready in a time where people are really hit and miss about new music? I'm really proud of that bands do it actually more for themselves than for anyone else. So how do you feel knowing that that's ready to go?
I don't know, to be honest with you. For a band like us, I don't know if new material really has an impact the way that it would if you were a band just starting out. I mean, we've already had 6, studio records under our belt. Our biggest hits have pretty much already been written and solidified. So it's more or less just something to feed the diehard and the core fans at this point. It's kind of sad to say, but it's just the harsh reality. I mean, all the band. I mean, even like bands like Aerosmith, when they put something new out and stuff, it just, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that peak that they've already reached on something. It's more of like a feeding the machine type thing at that point.
No, I understand completely. How many songs? You said you had 22, so that's for what's that, about 12 songs for the new album?
11 covers and 11 of the originals. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. How do you feel about the modern day technology? Like, I know a lot of bands utilize things like TikTok for their promotion. Are you going to be going down that road, like a metal band on TikTok?
It's actually funny that you say that, because we our label actually released a sped up and slowed down version of our song "Breaking Me Down," mm-hmm. And they did it for TikTok, because I guess that's kind of like a thing that a lot of, especially like the kids and a lot of, indie musicians are doing, is taking sped up and slowed down versions and making them their own and stuff. And it's something that we were kind of like scratching our heads on, because we're like, I don't know, that song is kind of like an iconic song and, a staple of the Soil catalog, and it sounds really weird sped up and it sounds really weird slowed down. But on TikTok, it kind of took over a life of its own and did some cool things with it. And it's kind of like a band like ours, although we still have an old school mentality and we're an older band, we still do have to embrace those newer things and the newer technology and stuff like that. And we were, like I said, we were kind of like up in arms of, what's this going to do, on a TikTok format with a band like us. But it's really done well, and it's really kind of taken over a life of its own, and it turned out really cool. To be honest with you, me and the rest of the guys still don't understand the value of it, but the kids out there messing with it and the people that are out there having fun with it definitely do. So we're happy to oblige.
Yeah, well, a lot of bands now actually do TikTok specific film clips, so they record them in the format for TikTok as well, so you get a separate film clip.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's pretty.
It might be something to look at. I don't know. I still haven't gotten it. I still don't understand it. I get off my lawn kind of guy when it comes to TikTok.
Yeah, I gotta. I'm right there with you, bro. I still just like to enjoy a song and an album and things like that the way it was meant to be, and not modified and altered and twisted and turned and all this stuff. But that's just me. I'm not a kid anymore, But
yeah,
we do live in a different generation and a different era of where these type of things are not only accepted but are enjoyed. So you gotta kind of roll with it too. So
Exactly. Now, as we finish up today, you have a month or under a month until you're here. So, any final words that you want to leave all of your friends in Australia with?
I love Australia. My band loves Australia. I'm sorry it's taken us a bit of time to come back, but we are just so excited to be coming there. I literally am counting down the days until we go. It's gonna be awesome. We're really excited, and to go with our buddies in Static X, it's gonna be what we like to always call, heavy metal summer camp, so to speak. Although you guys are probably since you're in the different seasons, you guys are pretty much in your fall. But
Yeah.
it's going to be so much fun going with our buddies and playing out there for everybody. And it's been a hot minute since we've been to Australia, and I just love it out there. I'm a huge ocean and coral reef fan and stuff, and you guys have the best of the best, the Great Barrier Reef. So it's it's kind of my Graceland, so to speak, I guess you
Awesome.
could say. So very much looking forward to it, and thanks for taking the time to catch up with us and everything. And we're really looking forward to this.
Awesome, man. I will see you in Brisbane. Looking forward to the show. See you in about a month.
Sounds great. If we can locate each other, let's have a pint.